to me, isn't really controversy. It's just something that happens in the course of NFL games.
I'm with you. It's like, that makes it controversy.
I also think as much as the Chiefs have won and been great lately, everybody just, they're doing the Golden State Warriors thing right now, where everybody just wants to see them fail and wants to say that
man, the referees definitely cheated for him, man. Oh,
yes,
my gosh.
Certainly. I am not looking forward to having those same conversations in this town around Christmas when we get closer to Jesus' birthday, but I digress. Number 1 is the Chiefs. Number 2, I think probably the highest I've ever had them on the power rankings in the few years that we've been doing this. I got the Houston Texans.
Oh, okay.
Muncie, they've shown the offense. They've shown the defense, held Chicago to just a field goal in the second half. Mm-hmm. And again, this is power rankings. It's supposed to be based off of how you're playing right now.
They say it's fluid.
It's fluid. It's week to week.
Yeah.
I got Houston at number 2.
All right. Okay.
Number 3, you're really going to like this.
Uh-oh. I'm nervous. When you say I'm really going to like it, it makes me really, really nervous.
I had the Buffalo Bills at 3.
See, I ain't like that. I don't like that.
They should be number 1, right?
No, they're overrated. Their window is done. They're not supposed to be on your list, man. They should be like ranked 32nd right now. Come on. Jeez Louise. You got them at 3? Come on,
3.
Man.
Right where they want to be at 3.
They are overrated. Don't start this. They're overrated.
Can I use another sports example that I think there's a little bit of Buffalo vibes with this right now?
Let me hear it.
The Washington Capitals, okay?
Oh, yes. I know exactly where you're going.
They won the Stanley Cup in 2019.
Yes.
And remember what happened the years before that?
I was going to say, prior to that,
they were getting eliminated by the Pens every year. They
ran into Sid Crosby on multiple occasions.
This team can never get over the hump. And then they had an offseason where
Ovi is overrated.
They had an offseason where they lost a lot of talent because they just couldn't afford to keep everybody. And it was kind of like, well, the Capitals' window to win a Stanley Cup is closed. But if you watched them that season, it was like, you know what? They're playing a different style.
It's a different style.
That might actually be, now that they don't have all the superstars.
Yeah, it's a little bit different.
It might actually be more conducive to winning in the postseason, and it was. And the year after everyone said, well, the Capitals are never going to win the Stanley Cup, they won the Stanley Cup. I'm getting some of those vibes of Buffalo right now.
No, they overrated up there, man. Their window is done. It's closed.
They're not as flashy. They're not as shiny. Their Madden ratings might not be as high. But I really like the formula that they have, and they have the quarterback, which we know is at least half the battle.
Man, they got the most overrated quarterback in the league. He was voted that amongst his peers also. Remember that, man.
I got Buffalo at number 3. Number 4, first team with a loss on here. I still have the Niners. I'm giving them a little wiggle room. I mean, get McCaffrey back. Get kind of, I think they're still trying to get
When's he coming back?
They just got a lot of moving parts on that offense.
They got the Madden curse, and it's the year of the calf muscle.
Uh-oh.
It's multiple people with calf injuries right now.
I don't like to hear that here in Western Pennsylvania.
I mean, look around the league.
I still got the Niners at number 4, even though, I mean, it's future MVP Sam Darnold just carving them up. Number 5, another one-loss team, the Lions.
I like that.
I think this
Detroit's tough.
Detroit's a tough team. They're a good team. You know, they have their one loss as an overtime loss, right? I still got the Lions at 5. Now, here's where we start to get a little crazy.
Okay. Because I'm going to say, so far, so good. Outside of Buffalo, so far, so good.
No serious beef with the top 5?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 6, I got the Saints.
I'm listening.
I don't know how long they're going to be on this list.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
But when you go 40 points back-to-back weeks.
Okay.
This is a best of the West weekly power rankings. Do I think the Saints are going to win the Super Bowl? No. Do I think they're going to win the NFC? No. Do I think they're even going to win their own division? No. But right now, with the way that offense is humming, I think they got to be on my list. I got them at 6.
Yep, I have an issue already. Keep going, though.
Number 7, Tampa Bay.
Yeah, definitely got an issue there. Yeah.
Undefeated. Beat those Lions, right?
Yeah, in Detroit.
Yeah, in Detroit. Yep, beat those Lions. Yep, Or sorry, I said overtime loss for the Lions, overtime victory, and then I got my games mixed up there.
But, man.
Tampa, on the road, Detroit, Baker Mayfield, 2-0, scoring points.
Why are they behind the Saints?
Because they ain't been scoring 40-some points a game.
You know who the Saints played?
I know.
And who the Bucks played?
They didn't play Southwest Central Missouri State. They played NFL teams.
So why have the Carolina Panthers made mass overhaul changes
Because they're not
Within
so good.
3 weeks.
Because they're not so good.
I'm just, man. All right.
I think you'll like number 8 on my list.
All right. Let's go.
Your Pittsburgh Steelers, my Pittsburgh Steelers, our Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay.
At number 8.
Okay.
Best defense in the league. George Pickens looking like a dog.
Okay.
Best center, young center in the league.
Okay.
I'm not sure where he's from or anything, but maybe we'll find that out one day. I got the Steelers at 8.
I like it.
At number 9, the Steelers' opponent on Sunday, the Chargers. Scoring points, running the football, 2-0 for the first time since 2012.
All right, can you talk real quick?
The nerdiest resident dad, Jim Harbaugh. Everyone's buying in.
Quick question.
Herbert's good to go.
I have a question for
Bosa's back.
I have a question for the teacher.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yep.
You told me the Saints in front of the Bucks.
Yep.
And you referenced the ability for the Saints to score points,
Yep.
right? Now you just said that you have the Steelers in front of the Chargers.
Yep.
But
How
you were
many
just
points
talking
did
about the Chargers
score?
score.
I know, 26, right? Against.
You said they were a
Carolina
professional team too, right?
They are.
So
you
what
want
am
to
I
know
missing?
you want to know the missing in logic there?
All right, I'm listening.
This is one of my politician moments, right? You caught me. You caught me being hypocritical. So much like all of our politicians, do as I say, not as I do. Because I love the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And you hate Baker Mayfield is basically what you're saying with this list. Because if Baker played for the Saints, you would have had the Bucks in front of the Saints. But since Baker plays for the Bucks, you were not going to put him in front. I got you, bro. It's
I am
all good.
nothing if not consistent in my inconsistencies.
It is all good. I love it. I just needed to see it. I love it. You're a self-aware man, though. Shout out to you for that.
Shout out to one of my best qualities in life is being self-aware. Number 10. The Minnesota Vikings.
Hey, Sam Darnold. I see you, baby.
When you have the MVP at quarterback in Sam Darnold, and Justin Jefferson, who's just scoring touchdowns out of like a video game. My goodness.
Respectfully, not Garrett Wilson.
Remember what we said about a Chrysler 300?
Respectfully.
Looks really nice. Looks like a Phantom till a Phantom pulls up.
He said,
a lot of guys can look like Justin Jefferson until Justin Jefferson pulls up.
They might play him like that. Teams don't typically play me like that. So, Lord.
And then,
you do that, Lord.
And then my next out, my also receiving votes, if you will, if we're doing this in AP poll style, the underachievers: Ravens, Cowboys, Eagles.
Okay. Hot week, cold week. Yeah.
You ready for this? You ready for this take real quick before we go to break and get to our buddy Rob King here? I think the Eagles are about to. I think they're about to blow up. I think the wheels are about to come off that wagon, to use
Can he start? Is what you're saying?
A term. I don't know. Maybe at some point this season.
Okay.
But aside from Carolina, as weird as it sounds, because it's a good roster. It's a team that made the playoffs last year, won double-digit games. I think the Eagles could be the next team that we see make some sweeping changes. So I don't know what that means for Jalen Hurts, but the vibes there just feel off. I thought they should have lost that game against the Packers. Saquon saved their bacon.
Saquon dropped their bacon.
Saquon dropped their bacon at home in the home opener against Kirk Cousins and the Falcons.
But they could be 2-0.
Very easily. And again, talented roster.
Yeah.
And as much as people are crushing Sirianni right now, he took a team to the Super Bowl 18 months ago. But I just weird. I feel much better about the Ravens and the Bengals' chances of having a good season than I do I don't know what it is. Weird vibes with the Eagles right now.
You're not feeling the Giants either?
Maybe to push the Panthers is the worst team in the league. So number 1, Chiefs, Texans, Bills, Niners, Lions. That's my top 5. Moats has no beef with that.
Except the Bills being too high. Way too high on the list. Way too high on this list, man.
Saints 6, Tampa, Steelers, Chargers, Vikings. Moats has big beef with that.
6, 7, 8, 9. This is 6, 7, 8, 9.
6 compared to 7?
Because
7 is better than 8 or 9.
Yeah, one of them things, right? 7, 8, 9, one of them, yeah.
All I want to know, or all I need to know, is that, we'll both have the Bills and the Steelers in the top 5 next week. Top 5. But we got to take a break here. We will be riding with the King, Rob Kinger, the King, Rob King joins us on the other side. I know he's excited to talk to Arthur Moats. I think he's got some JMU.
Oh, okay.
Some JMU.
Go Dukes.
I believe his daughter, I want to say, went to JMU.
Oh, now you speak my
played in
language.
the marching band there, I think, too.
Even better, the Marching Royal Dukes.
So we'll get into some Dukes and some Stellars with our new Thursday friend of the show, Rob King, when we return on the other side. You are listening to the Steelers Audio Network.
Steelers football happens here. The Pittsburgh Steelers Audio Network.
317.
Score big this season at Don's Appliances. From game day feast to post-game cleanup, we've got you covered. Don's has the region's largest selection of in-stock appliances from brands like Whirlpool and Maytag. Because when it comes to kitchen and laundry appliances, we know how to play to win. Plus, the big box stores can't beat our free next-day delivery and guaranteed lowest prices. Visit DonsAppliances.com, where black and gold fans shop for appliances.
Hey, football fans, BetMGM is giving you a shot to win season tickets to Pittsburgh Steelers home games for the next 10 years. Enter BetMGM's Decade of Black and Gold sweepstakes, and you can score 2 tickets and VIP hospitality 10 passes for a decade. Opt in each week and bet on football to boost your chances. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 and over, Pennsylvania and West Virginia only. Visit www.1800gambler.net. Please gamble responsibly. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards subject to expiry.
This is the Steelers Blitz with Wesley Euler and Arthur Moats on your 24/7 home of the black and gold, SNR.
Don't you know you're riding with the king?
Yes, it's a Riding with the King Thursday here on the Steelers Audio Network. It's our buddy Rob King, of course, the voice of your Pittsburgh Steelers on the Steelers Audio Network. Kinger, what's going on, partner? Thank you for taking the time here on a Thursday to join us.
I am thrilled and delighted, and Wes, always great to talk to you, and it's fun to talk to the former James Madison dude.
Hey, you speaking my language, baby. You speaking my language. And first off, congrats to you as well, man. I have not had a chance to officially congratulate you or even see you through everything that's transpired over the past couple of months, man. But definitely, couldn't ask for another guy, man, better than you to come here and take over what you've been doing right now, man. So big time salute to you.
Oh, Arthur, thank you so much, man. I feel so blessed. I'm so grateful to have this opportunity. It's funny because I'm not used to being on the answering question side about things. I like to ask the questions, But a lot of people have asked me about this, and it's just like, honestly, you can't even. I couldn't even, dream of something like this. One of my favorite quotes of all time is Muhammad Ali was getting ready to fight somebody, and he told the guy, Ali had some of the greatest lines of all time.
Yep.
He told the guy, "Hey, chump, you ever even dream of beating me, you better wake up and apologize."
Shout out to Ali.
I just if I could have dreamed. I don't even think I could have dreamed it. So I'm thrilled. I'm excited, and thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
No, without a doubt.
That's awesome. And you know what? Sticking with that, Kinger, obviously, you got a couple preseason games under your belt, 2 regular season games now in Atlanta and at Denver. And I'm sure that's been nice to kind of get in the groove and start to get comfortable. But I got to think you're looking forward to this home opener as well, too. First regular season game at Acrisure for you, for the Steelers. Just that energy, that crowd, introductions, to be able to, present that picture to everybody for the first time at home Sunday afternoon's got to be pretty exciting as well.
Yeah, it is. And it is from a number of perspectives. Certainly, for myself, the games that I called filling in for Bill were during so there were the last 2 I did, I can't remember what season it was, 19 or 20, were on the road, and then the next year was the COVID year.
Oh.
So you're calling a game from home, there's nobody in the seats. It was bizarre. So this would be the first time, other than I've called a couple of pit games there, filling in for Bill in the past, and the Whitfield Championships, but I suspect this will be a little bit different. And so I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to the game. So the closer I get to any game, the more the more worried I get about the opponent. You know, it's always been my nature. I start looking at these matchups. I'm like, oh my gosh, they got a lot of guys to deal with here. So, and that gets me excited. And so I'm really, really looking forward to this matchup, because I think that, you know, a lot of times you'll say, oh, hey, can the Steelers' great defense deal with their passing attack, or you know the matchup of opposites? I think Jim Harbaugh is trying to bring AFC North football to the AFC West. And I think we're looking at teams that are they want to do the same thing. And so this is, you know, an imposition of will sort of game. Who is going to be able to do what they want to do, because they both want to do the same thing. So I'm really, really excited about this matchup.
No, I love that right there. And you're absolutely right. I mean, these teams are almost identical in terms of their approach. But with that being the case, we also know that we're going to get a chance for Justin Fields to make his Steelers home opener debut. How have you been feeling about him so far? And, you know, just what's your excitement level going into this matchup?
Well, I think that Justin Fields, Arthur, has done what he's supposed to do. You know, I think everybody wants to see the explosive offense, although there's been very little of it around the NFL.
This is very true.
5 300-yard passers for 2 weeks. It's crazy what a low number that is. We saw the game start to evolve, I think, midway through last year. The scoring started to go down. But look, you know, Mike Tomlin's about winning the game. How do you win the game? And yes, of course you'd like to improve along the way. Of course you'd like to put building blocks in place. But the most important thing to do is win the game in front of you. And so people, you know, down in Atlanta, everyone's like, well, they didn't throw one pass over the middle of the field. Well, what's the one way Atlanta's going to win that game against you,
Yes.
right? When you throw it at Bates and Simmons. I mean, Bates had tied for the league lead in interceptions last year. No one's had more interceptions than Simmons since he came into the league. So why do that?
I mean, you just saw Bates close the door on Monday night with the interception as well against the Eagles. Come on now.
That's exactly right. And then, you know, when you look at this game against Denver, I mean, this was just a matter of the Steelers getting themselves in second and third and long because of the penalties. Penalties killed them. Arthur Smith just addressed the media down here, said kind of the things we've been talking about. I really identified they had a drive. I think each team went 3 and out, and then the Steelers got a drive in which, you know, Najee Harris gets 9 yards. It's 2nd and 1. And Wolf and I were talking on the radio like, hey, listen, if this is the drive where the Steelers put this team away, right? They let them know. They have them looking over their shoulder for the exit. Like, when can we get out of here? We're just getting beaten down. And then a holding penalty, and then you get in some unmanageable long yardage situations. And so there's no reason to stress Justin Fields out. There's no reason for him to have to do something bigger than you want him to do at a certain pace, because 1, you're in a hostile environment. 2, you have 3 young offensive linemen in that hostile environment. And 3, you have a quarterback who I think you're trying to, sort of redevelop in the mold you want to play him in. So why put all of that at risk? So, look, there's going to come a time where Justin Fields, or if it winds up being Russell Wilson, is going to have to score 28 points or 30 points to win a game. But that time hasn't come yet.
And, you know, staying with that side of the football and maybe same church, different pew a little bit, Kinger, one of the things that Moats and I spent a good amount of time talking about on the show yesterday was the growth that we're seeing from George Pickens so far through 120 minutes of football. All the questions that we asked throughout the offseason. Can he be that guy? We know the talent is there, but can he be that guy who's the focal point and does it consistently for 17 games? And man, it's still early doors here, small sample size, but against A.J. Terrell, a very good corner in his own right, and then Pat Surtain, who a lot of people, I think Moats and I included, think is the best corner in the National Football League. He goes out there, he performs. I think he wins those matchups. And as well, too, some adversity in there, right? Yeah. The questionable offensive pass interference in Atlanta. The big play getting called back, I believe it was one of the holding calls that offset the 51-yarder this week. He's had some moments in there, too, where maybe could have lost his cool, if you will, or let something affect his focus, and he stayed locked in. He stayed productive. He's been, I think, exactly what they've needed him to be here through 120 minutes of football.
Well, and I think that's a great point. guys, and I'm glad you brought it up, because if you just looked at the box score, right? You got a fantasy football team. You look at Pickens. What do you have? A couple catches. The yardage wasn't good. That did not show the sort of impact that he had in the game. He drew a penalty, a defensive pass interference call on Surtain. He had a 51-yarder called back. Again, the Terrell push-off. It's hard to, you go against those two corners week 1 and week 2. Look, he did a great job. The numbers spoke for themselves against Terrell. Again, the questionable OPI, as you mentioned, would have put him up over 100 yards in that game receiving. And in this game, if you get that 51-yarder back on a penalty, then, what are his numbers then? Again, pushing a 100-yard receiving game, and then the OPI or the defensive pass interference call on Surtain. His impact went well beyond what the numbers are showing. And, then conversely, you look at Joey Porter Jr. What's Joey Porter Jr. done against the two receivers that he's been charged with covering? He has shut them down. So that's, I think, and I don't think in either instance, I don't care what the numbers say, Surtain did not shut Pickens down in this game.
No, you're absolutely right. And when you bring up what JPJ has been doing these past 2 games, it's really refreshing to see both of our young stars at their respective positions being able to show up, and not just versus average talent, but versus some of the more notable names in the league. It kind of validates what we've been seeing from both of those guys throughout the training camp process as well. But speaking of some other young guys, man, that we have high expectations for, man, this offensive line, Troy Fautanu, Broderick Jones. Obviously, we know both of those guys have started the first 2 games. This past game, they were rotating a little bit. How are you anticipating those guys being used this week coming up? Do you see that rotation happening again, or do you think we'll see a little bit more of one guy versus the other?
That's a great question. Mike Tomlin was asked that, Arthur, and he talked about the conditioning aspect for Fautanu, which is something that I really, frankly, hadn't considered. And so that's,
because he missed pretty much 3-4 weeks of training camp, right? Yeah.
Right. He missed a bunch of games, and then, we talked all week about altitude. I should have put 2 and 2 together. Okay, so we got a young guy who hasn't
all of us were in the same page, man. All of us were.
We're playing at altitude, and you're like, oh, yeah, that's why he's the head coach. So because he's thinking about stuff like that. So it really hadn't even occurred to me when I heard Fautanu was going to start. So will that be a factor? And again, it goes back to kind of what we were saying earlier. The Steelers are Mike Tomlin trying to win the game. So what is going to give you the best chance to win the game? You'd also like to keep Broderick Jones, I think, involved, because he's a really talented guy. There are a lot of people thinking, look, Dan Moore might play himself out of the Steelers' plans. He's going to be a free agent after this year. He's off to a very good start this season. If he hits the market in free agency and the Steelers don't negotiate contracts during the season, he might just price himself out. And Broderick Jones, you drafted him to be your starting left tackle. So do you want to keep him involved? I think in a perfect world you do. As you know, Arthur, better than the rest of us, football is seldom a perfect world, or it's not as perfect a perfect world as much as you'd like.
Hey, that's the truth, man.
It doesn't always play out that way. So we'll see. I think Fautanu is going to start, and then if they can get Broderick Jones in there in a non-injury situation within the game flow, I suspect they might do that.
It's Rob King, the voice of the Steelers, with us here on the Steelers Blitz on the Steelers Audio Network. Kinger, I think rightfully so, a lot of young guys getting flowers. I mean, we've talked about Zach Frazier. Everybody's talking about Zach Frazier.
Hey, what school did he go to?
I think he went, down 79, Morgantown. I think it's called West Virginia University, I believe.
I totally forgot.
I think the Mountaineers is what they call themselves there.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they haven't played any football this year, at least that I can recall. Certainly not last weekend at Acrisure Stadium. So a lot of young faces, a lot of new faces, I think, Kinger, that have really shown well early on. One guy, though, who might be flying under the radar in that regard for me is Deshaun Elliott, and just what he's brought, what he means to Minkah Fitzpatrick, what he means to that defense, and just how consistently solid he seems to be.
Well, when people talked about the offseason signings, he was one that I really liked. I've always liked him as a player. I've always, we got a chance to see him, for Baltimore. I've always thought he's a really good player. And I made the analogy a couple of weeks ago about what I thought he could be. And again, completely different styles of football players, right? Both couplets of guys that I'm talking about. When Ryan Clark came in here, and again, Ryan Clark and Deshaun Elliott, different kinds of players. Troy Polamalu, Minka Fitzpatrick, different kind of players. But not only was Ryan Clark a terrific football player in his own right, but his ability to be so solid and so smart out there allowed Troy Polamalu to be Troy Polamalu. Now, again, Minka Fitzpatrick plays a different style, but, this idea of Minka Ball and him being back there and creating some turnovers.
Complementary guys, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think Deshaun Elliott is a really good football player in his own right. And not only that, but the ability then to free up, an all-pro type of player with Minka, I think he can have that effect on Minka. I've always liked Deshaun Elliott. I think he's a really good player. The guy I knew less about, because I didn't see him as much, was Dante Jackson. I think he's been really good too. So the additions the Steelers have made in that secondary, the amount of speed they've added on the defense that was getting a little slow in the middle of the field. Once you got some injuries at the linebacker position and, the safety position, the corners, they weren't as fast a year ago as they are now. But I've always thought Deshaun Elliott's a really good football player. So I'm really glad he's a Pittsburgh Steeler.
No, I'm with you on that, man. That physical brand that he plays, and like Wes said, man, the complimentary element of it. I mean, his tackling, I think, has jumped off the screen a lot. And that's also this, talk about the interceptions and the PBUs that we've been seeing from him. So, man, he's been a major, major asset to our defense. But another guy went to ask.
Hey, Arthur, can I ask you a question?
Yeah. Okay. Talk to me.
I want to ask Deshaun Elliott this question. I'm after practice, he's the one guy I'm going to be looking for in the locker room because I think it was in the fourth quarter of that game. Mm-hmm. The Broncos had the ball deep in their own territory, and the play clock was running down. And they trying to run the ball and I think pick up a first down. They hurried out of the huddle, and 3 seconds, 2 seconds, they get the snap, they hand it off, and Deshaun Elliott hit. I think it was Javonte Williams.
Oh, the TFL. Yes.
So my question is, did he see the play clock? That's all I want to know.
Ooh,
do you think, Arthur, he was looking at the play clock because they had a huge play clock.
So I like
Denver.
that question.
You think he looked at it and just said, hey, man, I'm going because if they don't snap it, that's on them. That's the penalty on them. You think it helped him time it up, or do you think he was just
I'll say
reading the
this.
play?
I think it's one of three things. One could be what you're saying. Play clock is going. They know you have to snap the ball. So you just say, man, bump it. I'm going to shoot my gun. I'm going to pull my trigger. The second thing is it was a called blitz. The third option is he knew as the safety, he was the unblocked defender, single back setting. So one back, one gap. You're the free guy. You can go. And for him, a lot of safeties don't trigger like that because they're typically pass players first. But it looked like to me that he just kind of understood what the situation was and knowing, hey, one back, one gap. If they run this, I'm going. And it looked like he just triggered from my perspective. But I'm interested to hear the answer as well from him because I can see all three of those things, whether it is the play clock going and they're going to snap this ball. Let me just trigger. And clearly they're kind of discombobulated as well, Yeah.
But 2 and 3 for sure, Arthur. No doubt about it. I just wonder if one was, did he see that clock and be like, hey, I can get a little bit of a split second on? I don't know. Maybe not. But
I will say this, though. His reaction time to it, top notch.
So
I mean, that's what you want to see, and that's why he was able to essentially come through free like that and make that tackle. Because if you're the unblocked defender like that, most of those guys just are hesitant. And if you hesitate for a second, now that old lineman, he's going to see you, whether it's the guard or the tackle, or the running back actually has a little bit more time once the ball, gets into his hands. But Deshaun has been playing downhill, man.
Yeah.
He's like very fundamentally sound when you watch him on that football field.
Yeah, for sure. I love his game. I love his game.
It's been a lot of fun, and I think we're all picking up what Kinger's putting down on that just comparison, and not the same exact players, but a maybe same church, different pew kind of feel, to steal a phrase from our buddy Mike Pursuta.
No, without a doubt. And I did want to ask you this, though, man. Obviously, we know Roman Wilson has been back out there on the practice field. Is this the week where he makes his Steelers debut? And more importantly, what are your expectations from him?
That's a great question. I mean, he's been out for a while. And, a lot has been made about the Steelers wide receiver group. and it not being productive beyond George Pickens. I don't know if that's the wide receiver group. I don't know if that's the scheme. I don't know if that's the game situation. I don't know if it's a little bit of all three. I'm still intrigued by Calvin Austin. And because I think that Calvin Austin was cast as a gadget play guy during the past regime. And I don't think, you have to be able to block in Arthur Smith's scheme.
Oh, that's the
better
truth.
block. If you're a wide receiver, you better block. And what I have seen in Scotty Miller and Calvin Austin, who are not big guys, obviously, they're very slight guys, is their willingness to block. They are feisty guys. And I think that's a huge part of the battle. Now, listen, you're going to run into guys that are just simply going to overpower you. But, those defensive backs, they don't all want to be blocked either, So I think that those guys can be effective. So I'm still interested in this wide receiver core, but certainly Roman Wilson gives you another weapon to be able to deploy in the passing game. So I am interested in seeing him. I'm just about to head out to practice. I don't know whether he's going to be a full participant or not, but definitely he's a guy I'm going to be keeping an eye on.
Rob King, before we let you go, good sir, we have to know.
Yes.
Other than a lot of George Pickens and Steelers offense talk this week on the show, we also, thanks to Mike Tomlin, had some hot dog talk on the show this week. So, Kinger, just before you go, we need you to construct for us your perfect hot dog.
As if you're about to make a road trip to JMU, actually, okay? How would you prepare your hot dog?
Grilled to the point of charred. I mean, charred, not boiled. I will not eat a boiled hot dog. Charred, mustard, onion on a toasted bun.
Ooh, toasted bun. Okay. I like the details.
I have to throw this in here.
I was going to say,
at a James Madison game.
I knew this. You've been waiting to tell this story.
My daughter was in the marching band.
Let's go.
My daughter was in the marching band.
The Marching Royal Dukes. Yeah.
It's the Marching Royal Dukes. By the way, greatest school spirit of any school I've ever been to, without a doubt. Every once in a while.
Let's go.
If somebody thought you were like a visiting student, or when we went down there with the daughter as a visiting student, somebody would just sort of drop down low, and they'd be like, "Go
Dukes!"
And then you're supposed to say, "Dukes." I mean, it was the school spirit was unbelievable.
Everything's purple. Everybody's got it on. Let's go.
Everyone's wearing purple. Start wearing purple today.
Yeah.
So I'm down there. By the way,
Kinger, every time JMU gets a big win, Moats saunters swaggers into the studio here on Mondays. Start wearing purple today.
Hey, come on, man.
That's it. You got to know.
Yeah.
So I would go down there. I would try to get down there once a year. Obviously, the schedules are so tough. We always made it once a year. But we were down there one time, and boy, Arthur, I don't remember if the Steelers run it by it because I think you were still playing for them, and you came out. I can't remember if it was before the game or halftime, and you presented a six-figure check to your alma mater. I was so impressed. I'm like, whoa, man, that is awesome. How awesome is that?
No, man, that was one of my proudest moments, man. Me and my family, I know exactly what you're talking about. It was, I want to say, pregame. It was like pregame time frame. We went down there, did the check presentation. Yeah, man, it was an awesome experience, man. It felt good to be back in, just giving back to the place that was really pivotal in my life at that time, man, in terms of my education, my on-field performance. I met my wife when I was there, so it felt like it was appropriate, man. It felt appropriate. That's funny though that you were there, man. Small world. Wow.
Listen, a lot of stuff's appropriate, but it doesn't always come with a six-figure check. So congratulations to you and your generosity, man. That's
I definitely appreciate you.
Rob King, make sure you're listening to him Sunday afternoon, 1 p.m., of course, on DVE and the Steelers Audio Network. Kinger, always fun. Thanks so much for the time, and we'll see you on Sunday.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
There he is. The king in the castle, Rob King. There he goes.
Man, that is actually crazy.
Isn't that
that is
funny,
actually crazy.
His daughter was in the marching band.
Bro, what? He's like, yeah, just
awesome
on the field, jumped
and again,
like,
anyone who's listened to this show for more than 5 minutes knows that we love the marching band.
I mean, it's the best.
It's the best. And so we're going to go to break now, and then we're going to crank some
Start wearing purple, man.
some JMU fight songs
Come on,
and some
baby.
JMU band tunes during the break.
Do it for the King's daughter, man. All right? Do it for the Marching Royal Dukes.
We will get to some of your tweets to close down on the other side. Another hour to go here. We'll start to turn the page, look ahead to the Chargers a little bit as well. All of that and more as we roll along. It's the Steelers Blitz on the Steelers Audio Network.
We bleed black and gold. This is the Pittsburgh Steelers Audio Network.
Drive into summer with a Honda CR-V and Accord. Your fun-to-drive, weekend getaway vehicles. And when you drive a Honda, you're driving with the 2024 Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com Best Value brand. So hurry in to the Honda Summer Event.
Brought to you by your local Honda dealers.
See dealer for financing details based on 2024 Consumer Choice Awards from Kelley Blue Book. Visit kbb.com for more information.
This is the Steelers Blitz with Wesley Euler and Arthur Moats on your 24/7 home of the black and gold, SNR.
Final segment here of the first hour of the program. Good stuff with our buddy Rob King there. I got a little JMU lesson during the break.
I mean, it's nothing like it, baby.
Stop.
It is nothing like it.
Purple. Can I just tell you a random observation?
Let me listen.
Why is it that the schools that have purple in their colors have like the most band swag?
I don't know. I mean, they say purple is
JMU,
royalty. That's what they say.
LSU,
Shout out to LSU.
TCU.
Shout out to TCU.
Like all their bands and their atmosphere just gets down.
It's like that sometimes. I guess because it's purple.
There's something
You
about
gotta
it.
like go extra hard if you were purple. I
There's
suppose.
something about it.
It's not as like
Unless
cool
it's
as like
that-
a blue
that
or a
Baltimore
white.
purple, obviously, as we've said
no.
before.
We don't even refer to them as Baltimore purple. That's
right.
just Ratbird.
It's just Ratbird.
That's just
color.
Ratbird over
Yeah.
there.
But like the Lakers,
Yeah.
you know.
See,
I
the
mean, it's
Lakers,
just
the Lakers purple was nice.
real nice, real nice. So yeah, very good stuff there. Big shout out to Rob King.
See, that's the way to hit it off with me, man. Bring up JMU on the first conversation. Oh, yeah, we're forever good.
Yes, buddies. He's welcome on the show anytime. Right? He can call in at any time, and he gets right through.
And the fact that your daughter's an alum as well. Oh, man, come on.
Yeah,
Part of the band. Oh. And you was there for one of my moments. Oh, man.
Just checking every box.
Oh, man. Yep.
Pretty cool. That
We're
Rob
brothers.
King guy. Pretty stinking cool.
Yerp.
Gotta love it. Gotta enjoy it. Just another minute or two here before we have to go to break again, kind of get ourselves back on track. But a couple tweets to close down the first hour. Jeff wants to know level of concern with lack of production at wide receiver other than George Pickens.
I mean, I have concern, but at the same time, as long as we're able to tread water until either one of these other receivers not named George Pickens develops and emerges as that true wide receiver too, or until we go shopping and bring somebody in that can do it. I think for right now, we're treading water based off of the style that we play and based off our opponents as well. We haven't really faced a team that could put stress on us there to make us have to play a different brand of ball. I thought at times Denver tried to do that. Atlanta, they tried to do it as well, but the reason why both of those opponents struggled was because of what George Pickens was able to do. The thought process those first 2 weeks were, I put my best corner on GP, shut him down, play coverage away from him, now we're good. Problem has been GP has shown that you can't single cover him this year. So as long as that continues, defenses are going to have to respond accordingly, or we're going to continue to see what we've been seeing, which is George Pickens having explosive plays down the grass. So as long as he is continuing to win the way that he is, I'm okay with it because we're still running the ball. We're not turning it over. We're playing really good on defense and special teams.
Yeah.
Boz has been lights out and we're forcing turnovers. As long as you do those things, sustaining drives, you win a ton of games just like that. But that ends if George Pickens comes back down from superstar land.
Right.
And through his first two opponents, A.J. Terrell and Pat Surtain II, the way that he had success against both of those guys, you're asking yourself, man, if you're starting out with those two, there aren't too many more names that we're going to be mentioning in the same breath as Surtain, let alone even AJ Terrell.
No doubt.
So that's the part where you have to be feeling a lot more optimistic about what could be from him. But obviously you want a Roman Wilson or a Calvin Austin or even a Van Jefferson to really, step up and emerge a little bit more. I know we flirted with Freiermuth being that guy, but I just think it's a little bit difficult for him to have the production based off of the routes that he's running. They're good routes. They're quarterback-friendly routes, but they're not, as a defensive coordinator, I have to worry about this guy's a legitimate wide receiver 2 routes. And I think that that's the one part that I still want to see some improvement for. But shout out to George Pickens, man.
Yeah, as long as he keeps doing what he's doing, it takes care of a lot of problems, without a doubt. And I tell you what, just looking at the schedule now, I mean, there's some real 5-star matchups for him. You're right. I mean, is it
5-star because we in it, or is it 5-star because they in it? I just need to know.
Well, it's always 5-star because we in it.
Okay, just
but
check.
Like, the other guy that we kind of talked about with Pat Surtain a little bit, Sauce Gardner, we're going to see him in about a month. A little over a month. We're going to see him in a little over a month. I've been told Kansas City, they got this defensive back that's pretty good that signed a big contract.
Everybody getting paid, huh?
Everybody's getting paid. I mean, so, AJ Terrell got paid. We saw what happened there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, hopefully, we'll have a repeat on Christmas.
So you said it's the get paid curse? You got the Madden curse. You see McCaffrey. Calf started popping up. We got on that Madden cover. So maybe it's the get paid curse.
To all defensive backs around the league, don't sign an extension because then you'll have to play the Steelers.
Don't sign an extension on the year.
Your honor.
Don't sign an extension within 2 years of having to play against George Pickens. There you go.
Jeff,
once you get paid, just be careful.
That's right. I mean, you're right. We want everybody to get paid.
Everybody get paid. Everybody eats.
You just got to time it right.
Everybody eats.
Everybody eats. Jeff, speaking of everybody eats, also wants to know, need to know your guys' choice of sauce, type of barbecue sauce on pulled pork. You like vinegar-based, tomato-based, or mustard-based? Now, these are the types of questions we like.
I probably lean vinegar and tomato. What about you?
Yeah. So I like the gold sauces, but I like that with like chicken, like smoked chicken. Yeah. In terms of pulled pork, I like the classic tomato-based. Little sweet, little heat.
Right, like in that either sweeter or heater, but one or the other. Yeah.
But I do like all 3 different barbecue sauce styles, depending on what I'm eating.
They made fire wings with the gold based.
Oh, dude, so good. Our Fatheads has really good gold based wings. Big Shot Bob's has really good gold based wings.
I want to say Sharky's is the other one that has a good one.
No doubt. And then Dino's does the sweet heat.
Yeah, the sweet heat is my favorite. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Me too. But I do love a good gold sauce.
Me too.
Do love a good gold sauce.
Like I might drive out to Lake Trove later today just to get some sweet heat. All right, I'm lying, but I want to.
Do you think they deliver here? You think Uber Eats or
yes? It just costs a little bit
Grubhub?
more, but we can get that.
Okay,
we'll get a cater.
You're buying.
What's your card number again?
1 hour in the books. Another hour to go. We'll get into some numbers in hour number 2. Look ahead to that Chargers matchup. More of your tweets as we roll along here on the program. It's the Steelers Blitz on SNR.
Your home for the Steelers. This is the Pittsburgh Steelers Audio Network.
With nearly 900 physicians and 7,300 employees, we are the 3rd largest health system in Western Pennsylvania. We've earned top honors for the quality of our care, including recognition from U.S. News and World Report and health grades. We're Independence Health System, comprising Butler, Clarion, Frick, Latrobe, and Westmoreland hospitals. And we're changing the landscape of healthcare in our region by providing low-cost, high-quality care through superb clinical expertise and the latest technology. Independence Health System. Expert care here.
Steelers fans, meet us at the Steelhouse Mobile Hub on September 28th from 1 to 3 p.m. at the Robinson Market District at Settlers Ridge for the next Steelhouse Saturday. Be one of the first 100 fans to spend $100 on your favorite Steelhouse products from Boyd & Blair, Hidden Still Spirits, and Noir Distillery, and take home a limited edition rocks glass while supplies last. Visit Steelers.com/Steelhouse for more details and to catch our Steelhouse Saturday schedule now.
Euler and Moats are on the air. This is the Steelers Blitz on your 24/7 home of the black and gold. SNR. Steelers Nation Radio.
afternoon, Steelers Nation. How we doing?
I'm thirsty.
Well, that's good. I'm hungry. Yeah, especially talking about wings and pulled pork there at the end of last segment. It is hour number 2 of the Steelers Blitz on the Steelers Audio Network here on a Thursday, halfway home as we roll along. Normally on Thursdays in hour number 2, like to look at some statistics of the Steelers' upcoming opponent. We'll probably still get to that at some point here in hour number 2.
Are you sure? We don't have to.
You're right. We don't.
I mean, we do what we want. It's your day.
We want. It is my day.
I mean, what they going to do? Stop listening?
I hope not.
Come on. Then what they going to listen to? Nobody?
Well,
It's 1 o'clock. Nobody's on the air at 1 o'clock except us.
That's true.
Come
we
on,
are
man.
the only operating Pittsburgh radio station during this time.
You can't go anywhere, man.
The only people in this town talking Steelers at this time because nobody does that. Mozi, during the break there, you and I were laughing. Mel Kiper Jr., yes, that Mel Kiper Jr.
Shout out to Mel Kiper, man.
Of hair fame and football fame, Mel Kiper Jr. I think most so known for his draft evaluations, but is also a regular on ESPN's football coverage throughout the year.
I'm a fan.
Mel Kiper Jr. made some waves this morning, Mozies. Made some waves this morning, Mozi. Pardon me. I'm just so rattled about this clip that we're about to play. Mel Kiper Jr. thinks that 2 high safeties should be banned in the NFL, should be outlawed. This is all in, and you heard Rob King actually talk about this as well, too. Passing numbers down across the league. Why is that? Why aren't quarterbacks throwing for as many yards? Why aren't teams scoring as many points? This was Mel Kiper's idea to fix it.
Mel, pick it up from there. Now that we've sort of set the table for exactly what your problem is with it, how would you try and solve it?
Well, I grew up with the best of the National Football League, 60s, 70s, into the 80s. You're talking about deep shots, right?
Boomer.
The go route, the 9-route post. You're talking about Terry Bradshaw in a Super Bowl hitting John Stallworth. You see Leroy Irvin diving, right, just off his finger. There's the receiver. They laid it out there, right? Hit the receiver in stride, 65-yard touchdown. It's a beautiful thing to watch. That's what I want to see brought back to the National Football League. Okay, check down kings, bubble screen sensations, boring football. Game manager, I get it, but I want to see those deep shots. That's what the NFL was built on. I grew up with John Unitas, Fran Tarkington, Ken Stabler, Darryl LaMonica. You talk about quarterbacks, Joe Namath. It was just right. Brett Favre when he was doing what he did. Burt Jones with the Baltimore Colts. You think about those quarterbacks who would throw the ball down the field. I said what Bradshaw did with Stallworth and Swan, Roger Staubach. That's what I want to see brought back. Say, well, you can't do that, right? Well, you got a 5-yard rule with the cornerbacks, right? The Mel Blount rule, right? Now with the push thing with Hurts, you got to be a yard back now. So don't tell me you can't have those safeties closer to the line of scrimmage than they are. I was at games where I'm thinking, hey, too high? They're out in outer space. I couldn't even find us. They're playing with 9 guys, right? Where are the other 2? Oh, the other 2, they're so daggone far back, and even though they're part of the damn play. I'm telling you, we got to change this thing, and we got to have, hey, you can warn them. Hey, come on. Hey, guys, you got to get up a little bit, right? You're too far back. Warn those safeties, but you got to figure out, competition committee, somebody's got to figure out what that depth is, but it's too far back right now. The NFL is being ruined by these 2 high safeties.
The look on Dan Orlovsky's face the whole time while he's saying that is just fantastic. And Orlovsky's a quarterback.
I love it, man. Like, I love it.
Steelers nostalgia aside, because he did have some nice Steelers nostalgia references in there, which we're always good with.
I hope you find that comfort, man. You're looking for it. I hope you find it. I love it.
Two things that really stand out to me.
I love it.
One, like as you and I have discussed, what do I always tell you on Show Me the Money the first 2 weeks of the season? Take the unders. It takes offenses longer to gel, to come together, to get on the same page than it does a defense. I don't think we're going to go through the whole season with only 1 quarterback a week throwing for 300 yards. That's part one. Offenses always start a little bit slow. We see this every year. And part two, Arthur Moats, is why. Why is it always the only way football can be entertaining is if there's 1,000 yards and 80 points scored?
I mean, don't yell at me. You got to think. This is what the consumer has always wanted.
I'm a consumer, though. That's not what I want.
You've shifted. A lot of people have loved quarterbacks more than any other player on the field because quarterback does what?
It is entertaining.
Exactly.
They do move the ball.
So
They do make the
all
plays.
Mel is saying is, let's lean all the way into it. Like every pass interference rule that has been changed, every hit on a defenseless receiver that's been changed.
The other thing too.
Hey, look, obviously we know the tour
hard
result
do we
was
wanna make it
terrible.
on
But
defenses
I'm just
in
saying,
this
even
league?
think what happened to Tua, it was bad, right? Put his head down. No one even talks about that. But if you play defense and you do that, you're crucified. So
destroyed.
as a whole, we just know that everybody wants to see offense. Defensively, this has always been the fight. Hence the reason why they even implemented the Mel Blount 5-yard rule.
Shout out to Mel Blount
Right?
there in that clip too.
So once again, it's just funny because it's like, man, you're complimenting the defense even though you don't even realize it. Because in the midst of all of these rule changes, in the midst of the climate and the intent being we want scoring to be up, you still upset with it. Hey, look, well, we ain't got too many other coverages we can play out here, all right?
Like,
my whole thing
don't
too
have
is
too many.
it's like you don't want the too high look. What about being able to run the ball?
What about being able to run the football?
because in all seriousness, right? He brought up Johnny Unitas. He brought up,
Fran
Brett Favre.
Tarkenton. Brett
So my question is this though. Adrian Peterson, Emmitt Smith, Terrell Davis, right? Let's go back even Eric Dickerson, right? Bo Jackson, right? I mean, we can talk about elite level running backs that were also monumental. And why is that? Because if your team as a defense wants to play two high safeties, you're saying that I'm willing to risk my run defense. If you have an offense that can do both, an 80-yard touch, you don't think Barry Sanders was exciting to watch? Was Barry Sanders exciting?
Yeah.
You don't think Barry?
Yeah. LaDainian Tomlinson?
Hey, me and you got to watch LaShawn McCoy. Was he not exciting to watch? You see what I mean? Like,
Well,
so all I'm saying is, at this level, man, you got guys at both spots that can make plays.
yeah.
But you can't bail the offense out because, man, they can't run the ball and they can't throw the ball. So now let's make the defense be even more handicapped so we can give them
ridiculous.
a better
ridiculous.
opportunity. It's like, man, we can't hit your quarterback. If we hit your quarterback, we can't land on your quarterback. If I hit you and you're a receiver and you duck in the slightest bit, I'm getting flagged. If I breathe on you too hard while you're pushing off of me down the grass, we're going to say, George Pickens, that's a ticky-tack OP I call. Are we not?
Yes.
Are we not? Think about that.
Yes.
Think about that.
It's insane. It's insane.
We
to
look
me.
at the GP, AJ Terrell, OPI, and we're like, no, I hate that call. And now we're talking about, don't play too high defense on top of it. It's like, man, what are we doing here, man? Just let these guys just run freely down there, catch the ball, land perfectly, don't breathe on them too hard. We're not going to be playing football anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so I get why he's upset and what he wants, but yeah, man, it's only so many things you could do to spoon feed these offensive guys, man.
It's insane. You can't touch the quarterbacks. You can't touch wide receivers.
They need a nice little warm blanket, nice little warm breast milk, man. All right, burping when they done. I mean, like, I thought the offensive guys get paid. They on TV. They got all the commercials. Why they need that too?
As Wolfley would say, you got to have a 2-step verification before you can tackle. You got to show somebody two forms of ID before you can tackle them.
Man, I got to know the password, a secret handshake. Golly, man.
It's just mind-numbing to me.
My man say, yo, can we take out the too high safety or can we make them have to cheat up closer?
How about you just get better?
Can I take out?
How about you just find solutions?
If we take out the too high safety, can we take out a hit on the defensive receiver then? Can I take that penalty out? I think that's a fair trade. You want to see explosion, right? You want to see highlight plays? Let's bring that back.
Yep.
Because that was going on back there too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would love for that to come back.
Hip drop tackle?
Let's bring back that real life hit on that QB too. So we can start sending them real life messages and let them know, hey, you in for a long day.
Yep.
Not this patty cake. Oh, I hit you, but hold on, let me not land on you. Let me not put too much body weight on you. Oh, I hope you don't roll up and play dead because I'm gonna get flagged. If you even play dead, I'm gonna get flagged. I don't even have to hurt you. I don't even have to hit you for real. Just play dead and you're gonna get the flag. We already know that. So come on, man. What we doing?
And in the bigger picture of things too, right? The NFL is a cyclical league. The NFL is a zig and a zag kind of league. Offensive coordinators are going to find ways to take advantage of this.
They've already been doing it.
The water already finds the water always finds its level in the NFL, right? Teams start throwing the ball more, so defenses start playing more nickel defense. Defenses start getting in lighter personnel packages. Offenses go back to running the football. Like, it is always trying to find the advantage, the next wave, staying ahead of the curve.
Who has the marker last? When we're drawing it on the board, if you're on offense first, you drew yours up first, I'm going to be right because I get the marker last.
Right.
Once I make my adjustment and you get that marker, you're going to be right because you can make the final adjustment. That's what it is, man.
And so, like you said, there's ways to attack a defense that's playing too high safety. Look,
it's not impossible. I promise it's not impossible,
It's not
man.
a cheat code.
I've never seen this too high. Look, how can we ever move the ball?
It might not be as sexy as the casual football fan labels it.
Listen,
but you know what's
time out. You watched Bijan Robinson? Did you see him at Texas?
Yes.
Was he not sexy at Texas? Was that not sexy?
My Mountaineers plenty of times.
Time out. Was that not sexy? Reggie Bush.
Blast.
Am I missing something?
Adrian Peterson.
Since when are 60, 70 yard
Bettis
runs?
A lot of fun to watch.
Since when are
Willie
explosive
Parker,
runs
a lot of fun to watch.
That's not fun no more?
Lev Bell, a lot of fun to watch.
I just thought that was fun, man.
You don't enjoy watching Christian McCaffrey play football,
like, he's such a boring player. Oh, my gosh. Game manager. Oh, check down artist.
These young guys, Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, they're no fun to watch.
You ever watch James Cook? Jeez.
And you know what drives me nuts about Sam? This is the worst part about it. And I'll say Mel Kiper, but it's the Mel Kipers of the world. It's not just him.
Uh-oh.
People who
He's
have
not exclusive to this.
People who have these kind of reactionary takes. For a fact, if through 2 weeks of football it had been the opposite. Every quarterback's throwing for 400 yards. Every game is 42 to 38. They'd be sitting on there saying, we got to do something to slow down this scoring. Can we play some defense?
Right. Sounds good. They be talking about how great all these quarterbacks are. They talk about, oh, man, Bryce Young he's going to be MVP. Hey, Baker Mayfield's going to be MVP. Sam Darnold's going to be MVP. That's what they be saying.
Georgia and Alabama play a 9-6 game, and everyone's like, man, they need some offense. Then Georgia-Alabama play a 45-42 game, and they're like, man, where's the SEC defense?
There's no defense out here.
There's
no defense out here.
That's the part that drives me crazy.
You got to love it, though, man. You have to love it. Shout out to Mel Kiper, though, man. Like I said, big fan.
I do wonder if basically like a producer or somebody just got in his ear and was like, hey, it's a slow Thursday. We need something. And Mel's like, yeah, watch this. Boom goes the dynamite, baby. You want some impressions on social media? You want every football show in the world talking about us today? Here you go.
Sometimes I be thinking that, man. But then other times it's like, it's Mel Kiper.
It is Mel Kiper. He's also past the point in his career where he has to say clickbaity type things.
Like Mel, I feel like Mel, if he woke up and he felt that, it's kind of like if Nick Saban say something. It's like Saban don't have to put
it with his chest.
He gonna stand on what he says for right or wrong. That's his opinion of it, man. I mean, but I get what he's trying to do.
The football he grew up watching.
I think we should I like the give and take, man. We'll give you 2 high safeties if we can hit the defenseless receiver again. Give us that back, because I promise you that it's a fair trade-off. I promise it's a fair trade-off. We'll get the exact same effect. I promise we will. They be like, why don't go over the middle of the field no more?
What happened?
Yeah, keep throwing the one highs, and you better keep throwing in the perimeter.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Bring back the Ryan Clark highlight tapes, and we'll see what happens here.
I promise you.
Bob Sanders?
Okay.
We remember.
You want to go night-night? Yeah.
We remember. The people remember.
Okay. That's the football I grew up on.
So, thank you. That was very cathartic for me. Yeah, that's the football I grew up on.
I mean, he got some Ronnie Lott. He knows some killers.
Yeah.
He forget about the killers? That's crazy.
Steve Atwater didn't exist?
So now he don't know about no killers. Now he ain't never seen nobody go to sleep.
No Steve Atwater?
Nobody went to sleep in your time. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I know you be lying. I know you be
y'all
lying.
created the term CTE back when y'all was playing. What y'all talking about, man? Can we get them rules? No 2. I say let's go back to the rules, man.
Listen, if we're going to roll it back,
if we're going to roll it back, let's roll it all the way back, man.
And I just also, too, like, it's always, it's just, I don't want to get back into it because then I'm going to get angry again. But it's like, you know what it kind of reminds me of?
What's up?
You know how they like banned, and I might use some wrong terminology here. If you're a baseball person, bear with me, because I am not a baseball person. But you know how they like banned the shift in baseball?
Okay.
Like you can't
overload one side.
You can't overload one side. But it's like if Arthur Moats has 300 hits in a season.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be a pretty good number.
It would be.
Because then you'd be averaging like 2 hits a game. Yeah, if you had like 300 hits in a season, you'd be balling.
I'm Aaron Judge.
Yeah, exactly. Ichiro Suzuki.
Yeah.
You had like 300 hits in a season. And 275 of those land in right field.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't I load up in right field?
Makes too much sense.
The onus should be on you to hit the ball somewhere else. Why is the onus on me to not be standing where I know the ball is going 95% of the time?
Safety, don't hit this guy in the head, even though the quarterback is going to throw the ball directly in the middle of the field, high, late, in front of all you people that are ready to kill this guy. But don't hit that guy, okay? You're in trouble. You're at fault for him throwing that pass there. That's the same way I feel.
Look, what happened to the game? What happened to the game that we love? You know, these guys can get up here and say, "Oh, back in my day, they used to throw it down the field and used to." Yeah, well, you know, back in my day, Debo and RC used to.
It's pretty simple though.
Easy.
It's pretty simple. Back in his day, back in my day, they weren't giving out the contracts that they give out now. And those contracts that they give out now are largely because of TV dollars. And the TV dollars are largely up because of scoring. So, once again, man, this is what the fans want. We already know this. That's why I don't even complain. I just laugh at it because we already know. Fans have said this. Fans have wanted this. And your actions will forever speak louder than anybody's verbal displeasure of football.